My wife laughed. You can't divorce me. My dad owns this town. I handed her the papers anyway. She didn't know her dad had just been indicted for fraud and their assets were frozen. Her protection was gone, and so was I, 36 male. Filed for divorce last Tuesday. 3 years of marriage, 6 years together total. My wife, 32, laughed in my face when I told her. You can't divorce me, she said, still laughing. My dad owns this town. Good luck finding a lawyer who'll take your case. I handed her the papers anyway. Already filed. You've been served. Her smile disappeared. You're bluffing. Nobody would dare read them. She snatched the papers, eyes scanning fast. When she got to the lawyer's name, she actually relaxed. Thompson. That's it. He's third rate. My dad will crush him. Maybe he would've, I said, if he wasn't currently under federal indictment for wire fraud and securities violations. All his accounts are frozen. The FBI raided his office yesterday morning. The color drained from her face, completely, like someone pulled a plug. You're lying. I pulled out my phone, showed her the news article. Local business titan under investigation, assets seized pending trial. Published 6 hours ago. She stared at the screen, then at me, then back at the screen. This doesn't change anything. He'll fix this. He can't even afford his own legal defense right now. The court appointed him a public defender this afternoon. You're making this up. Call him. Ask him yourself. She tried 3 times. Straight to voicemail. Her hands were shaking by the 3rd attempt. He's probably just busy with lawyers. He's probably in a federal holding cell. They denied bail. Flight risk. I'd known about the investigation for 2 weeks. A buddy who works in the federal courthouse gave me a heads up after seeing the sealed indictment. The timing was pure luck, but I wasn't about to waste it. See, my wife's family had money. Real money. Her dad owned half the commercial real estate in our area. Sat on every important board. Played golf with the mayor. When we got married, I thought I was set. Financial security, good connections, the works. Turns out, marrying into that family meant becoming their servant. You'll work for my dad's company. My wife told me a month after the wedding. He's setting up a position for you. I have a job, engineering firm. Good pay. This pays better. And it's family. The position was basically being her dad's errand boy, picking up dry cleaning, scheduling his appointments, driving him to meetings. Paid okay, but it was humiliating. My engineering degree gathering dust while I fetch coffee. It's temporary, my wife kept saying, just until he sees you're reliable. 3 years later, still fetching coffee. But the worst part, my wife's attitude. She'd become unbearable. Can you pick up groceries? I'd ask. That's not my job. That's your job. I work too. You work for my family, which means you work for me. Now go get groceries. Everything was an order. Nothing was a request. And if I pushed back, she'd threaten to talk to Daddy about my attitude problem. Last month I finally snapped. We were at her parents' place for dinner. Her dad made some comment about me being lucky to marry up, and she laughed. Actually laughed. He really is. I mean, what would he be without us? I set down my fork. An engineer making 6 figures doing actual work instead of playing assistant. Silence. Her dad's face went red. Excuse me, my wife said. Voice ice cold. You heard me. I'm done being your personal servant. You're done when I say you're done. Or would you like to find out how hard life gets when my father makes a few phone calls? That threat, that was the moment. I was done. Hired Thompson the next day. He was third rate, because he didn't kiss up to her family, didn't owe them favors, and he was hungry for a case. I won't lie, he said during our first meeting. With her family's connections, this could get ugly. They'll drag it out, make you look bad, probably try to destroy your career. What if those connections disappeared? Then it's a different story, but that's not happening. Oh, but it was. My courthouse buddy had already told me. Federal case, years in the making. Her dad's company was a house of cards, fake investors, cooked books, the whole deal. They were just waiting for the right moment to move. I waited 2 weeks of pretending everything was normal while watching my wife strut around like she owned the world. We should renew our vows, she said last Saturday. Big party, invite everyone. Show them what a power couple we are. Sure, I lied. Sounds great. Monday morning, the feds moved. Tuesday morning, I filed. Now, here we were, her standing in our kitchen, divorce papers in hand, her whole world crumbling. This is insane, she said finally. You can't just, we're married, not for long. I'll fight this. I'll take everything. The house, the cars, your pension. Good luck affording a lawyer. That stopped her. She hadn't thought of that. Her dad paid for everything. Always had. She had credit cards, sure, but they were tied to his accounts, which were frozen. I'll max out the cards before they freeze them. Already frozen. Federal seizure includes all related accounts and credit lines. You checked your wallet lately? She actually ran to her purse, pulled out her wallet, started trying cards on her phone. Each one declined. No. You've got about $300 in your personal checking account. That's it. How do you know that? You show me your bank statements every month, remember? To prove you're being responsible with your allowance. I used air quotes on that last part. I pay attention. She looked at me like she'd never seen me before. Who are you? Someone who got tired of being treated like crap. Update 1. Week later, the entitlement got worse before it got better. So much worse. First thing my wife did after the initial shock, called her mum, hysterically crying about how I was abandoning the family during their darkest hour, and how cool I was being. Her mum called me an hour later. How dare you do this now? Your father-in-law is facing serious charges and you're worried about your little feelings. My little feelings include 3 years of being treated like hired help. He gave you a job. He gave me a leash. There's a difference. You're selfish, ungrateful. We took you in. I'm a grown man with a master's degree. I didn't need taking in. I needed a partner who saw me as an equal. My daughter is too good for you anyway. She hung up. My wife, meanwhile, had moved from shock to rage. You planned this. She accused me Wednesday night. You knew about my dad and you waited like a vulture. I knew the investigation was happening. I didn't know when they'd move. Liar, you set this up. Your dad set it up himself by committing fraud for 15 years. He didn't do anything wrong. It's all a misunderstanding. The denial was impressive. Her dad was on the news every night. Former investors coming forward. Employees testifying about shredded documents. The whole deal. But she refused to see it. The government's just jealous of successful people. She insisted. Successful people don't need to steal pension funds. You don't know what you're talking about. She tried everything to stop the divorce. Everything. Thursday, she called my boss at my old engineering firm, told them I'd been making threats and was unstable, and they should be careful. My boss called me, confused. Hey, got a weird call from your wife. Something about threats. We're getting divorced. She's not handling it well. That explains it. She also said you were stealing from us before you left. I quit 3 years ago to work for her family. Never stole anything. Yeah, figured. Just wanted to give you a heads up. She's making calls. She tried poisoning the well. Classic move. Wouldn't work though. I'd left that job on good terms and she had zero credibility. Friday, her lawyer called. Well, her lawyer. Turns out she'd convinced her dad's criminal defense attorney to take her divorce case. Pro bono, of course, since she couldn't pay. My client is willing to negotiate, he said stiffly. In exchange for you dropping the divorce. She agreed to marriage counseling. No, miss her. No, non-negotiable. The marriage is over. She's willing to make concessions. She had 3 years to make concessions. I'm done. You're being unreasonable. I'm being clear. See you in court. He tried the intimidation thing. My client's family still has significant influence in this area. Her dad's in jail awaiting trial. Her mom's accounts are under investigation. What influence? Silence. Then, we'll be in touch. They were. Frequently. My wife started showing up at my new apartment. I'd moved out the day after filing. Got a studio across town. Nothing fancy, but it was mine. She'd bang on the door at random times. Let me in. We need to talk. Talk through our lawyers. Stop being childish. Open the door. Go home. This is my home. You stole it from me. The apartment was mine before we got married. My name only. She'd moved in, sure, but legally, it was always mine. Check the lease. You're not on it. You need to leave. I'm not leaving until you listen to me. The neighbors started complaining. Building management got involved. Had to threaten a trespassing charge before she finally backed off. But then came the real dirty trick. Monday morning, I got pulled over on my way to work. Normal traffic stop, or so I thought. License and registration, please. I handed them over. The cop went back to his car, came back 15 minutes later with 2 more cops. Step out of the vehicle, please. What's going on? We received a report that you've been threatening someone. We need to ask you some questions. My wife, she'd filed a police report claiming I'd been sending threatening messages and showing up at her residence making threats. Complete lies. I haven't contacted her except through my lawyer, I said calmly. And I moved out of the residence. She's the one showing up at my place. Can you prove that? Thank God for doorbell cameras. I showed them footage from the past week. My wife screaming outside my door. Timestamps clearly showing her arriving unannounced. Me asking her to leave. The cops watched. One of them sighed. Looks like someone wasted our time. She filed a false report. We'll be having a conversation with her about that. They let me go with an apology, but the damage was done. Now I had a police interaction on my record. That was the point. When I got to work, HR wanted to meet. We received some concerning information about you. Let me guess. Anonymous tip. The HR lady looked uncomfortable. A concerned citizen called claiming you were making threats in the workplace. I work remotely 3 days a week. I've been here since 8 a.m. Who did I threaten? They didn't specify. Because it's my wife. We're getting divorced. She's making false reports. I showed her the police body cam footage. The cops had given me a copy. Showed her the doorbell footage. Laid out the whole timeline. I'm gonna recommend we ignore this complaint, she said finally. But document everything going forward. If she escalates, we need to know. She escalated. Wednesday, I found out she'd been calling my clients. I work as an independent consultant now. Contract work for engineering firms. She got my client list somehow and started calling them. I'm so worried about my husband, she told one client. All fake concern. He's been so stressed lately, not sleeping well. I'm worried about the quality of his work. That client called me directly. Got a weird call from someone claiming to be your wife. Soon to be ex. What did she say? Basically try to make you sound incompetent. I told her, we've been happy with your work, and hung up. But heads up, she might call others. She did. Hit 3 more clients before I could warn them. 2 ignored her, but 1 pulled their contract. $15 job, gone. That was it. I called Thompson. She's interfering with my livelihood. What can we do? File for a restraining order and document everything. Every call, every visit, every false report. We're going to need it. The restraining order hearing was scheduled for the following week. In the meantime, my wife kicked it up another notch. She emptied our joint savings account. I'd forgotten about it. Small account, maybe $8 in it. We opened it years ago for household expenses but barely used it. Both our names on it. She withdrew every penny. That's marital property, Thompson said when I told him. She can't just take it. Well, she did. We'll add it to the filing. Judge won't like it. She also took everything from the apartment. Everything we'd bought together. Furniture, kitchenware, decorations. Hired movers while I was at work and cleaned the place out. I came home to an empty apartment. Literally empty. She'd even taken the toilet paper. The pettiness would have been funny if it wasn't so infuriating. But here's the thing. Every stunt she pulled, every false report, every piece of harassment, it all went in Thompson's file. Building a case for her being vindictive, unstable, and destructive. Let her keep going, Thompson said. She's doing our job for us. The restraining order got granted. Temporary for now, but solid. My wife showed up to the hearing with her dad's criminal attorney. Guy looked exhausted. Probably wasn't getting paid enough for this nonsense. Your Honor, my client is simply trying to salvage her marriage. By filing false police reports, the judge interrupted. By harassing her husband at his workplace and residence. By interfering with his business. Those are exaggerations. I have police reports, building manager statements, client affidavits. What part is exaggerated? My wife tried to speak. Your Honor, he abandoned me. You were served with divorce papers at your residence. That's not abandonment. That's proper legal process. But my father, your father's legal troubles are irrelevant to these proceedings. She started crying. Real tears this time. Not the manipulative kind she used to use on me. I have nowhere to go. No money. He took everything. The judge looked at Thompson. Financial situation. The marital home is in my client's name. Purchased before marriage. My client has been covering all housing costs. The defendant withdrew $8,000 from their joint savings account without permission and removed all shared property from the residence. I needed that money. For what? The judge asked. Living expenses. I can't work. I'm too stressed. You don't work. The judge checked some papers. According to the filings, you've been unemployed for 6 years. I was supporting my husband's career. I actually laughed. Couldn't help it. The judge gave me a look, but I saw his mouth twitch. MAA. The evidence suggests your husband was supporting you. Restraining order is granted. You are to stay at least 500 feet from the petitioner, his residence, and his workplace. Violation will result in immediate arrest. But you also owe the court $500 for filing a false police report. Payment due in 30 days. Her lawyer looked like he wanted to disappear. My wife looked stunned. Outside the courthouse, she tried one more time. This isn't over. She hissed at me from her required 500 feet away. My dad's gonna beat these charges, and when he does, he's not beating them. The feds have 17 witnesses lined up. He's going to prison. You don't know that. I know the evidence. And you should start planning for a life without daddy's money. I'll take you for everything in the divorce. With what lawyer? The one you can't pay. That shut her up. Her dad's attorney had apparently quit that morning, told her he couldn't represent her anymore due to conflict of interest. Translation. Her dad couldn't even afford his own defense, much less hers. She was alone. For the first time in her life, no safety net. But I wasn't done. Not even close. See, when you work as someone's assistant for 3 years, you see things, emails, documents, confidential conversations, where they forget you're in the room. I'd kept records, not of her dad's fraud. I'd had nothing to do with that, but of other things, small things that added up, like the time my wife had her dad hire her friend for a no-show job. 60 cal her salary, never came to the office once, paid for 18 months before someone noticed, or the time she'd used company funds to redecorate our apartment. 30 cals worth of furniture and art charged to office renovations, or the emails where she bragged to her friends about never having to work because daddy takes care of everything. I handed everything to Thompson. Can we use this? He read through it, started smiling. Oh, we can use this. This shows financial dependence, misuse of family funds, and a pattern of entitled behavior, perfect for arguing against alimony. My wife wanted $4,000 a month in spousal support to maintain the lifestyle she was accustomed to. Thompson was going to argue for zero, and with this evidence, he might get it. The preliminary divorce hearing was set for 2 weeks out. My wife had to find a lawyer fast. She found one, bottom-of-the-barrel family attorney who'd just passed the bar. Kid looked fresh out of law school, completely overwhelmed. Your Honor, my client is requesting temporary spousal support, pending the final divorce decree. On what grounds? The judge asked. She's been out of the workforce for 6 years while supporting her husband's career. Thompson stood. Objection. The defendant has not worked in 6 years due to choice, not necessity. Her husband worked for her family's company during that time, earning salaries separate from household income. Your Honor, she gave up her career. What career? Thompson said. According to tax returns, the defendant has never held employment for longer than 6 months. No career was given up. The young lawyer floundered. She sacrificed her potential. Your Honor, I have documentation showing the defendant living off family wealth, charging personal expenses to company accounts, and explicitly stating she had no intention of working. He presented the emails. My wife went pale. The judge read them. His expression said everything. Temporary support is denied. Defendant will need to seek employment. Your Honor, she has no job skills. Then she acquires some. This court does not exist to maintain anyone's lifestyle. Next hearing is in 60 days. Defendant is advised to find employment in that time. My wife stormed out. Her lawyer looked defeated. Outside, I finally relaxed. Thompson clapped me on the shoulder. That went well. Real well. With her behavior on record and these documents, you're looking at a clean exit. Minimal asset split, no alimony, done in 90 days. What about the apartment stuff she took? She's going to have to return it or pay you for it. Judge's order. She spent the $8, then she owes you $8, plus the furniture value. We'll add it to the final decree. Best part, her dad's trial was starting next month. All over the news. Every dirty deal exposed. My wife was going to watch her whole family empire crumble in real time, and I was going to be long gone by then. Final update, 2 months later. Divorce finalized last week. Took 90 days total. Record time. Thompson said. Final settlement. I kept the apartment. Was mine anyway. I kept my car. Also mine. She got her car. In her dad's name, soon to be seized by the feds. Split of shared property. She owed me $11,000 for what she took spent. No alimony. She had to pay her own legal fees. She had to sign payment terms for that $11,000, $200 a month for 5 years. Her lawyer tried to fight it, but the judge wasn't having it. Your client withdrew marital funds and removed property during an active divorce proceeding. She's lucky the petitioner isn't pressing charges. My wife's face at the final hearing was something else. Pure defeat. She'd shown up in a Target outfit. First time I'd seen her in anything not designer in 6 years. "I hope you're happy," she said after, waiting at her court-mandated distance. "I'm getting there. My dad's trial starts next week. The media's going to destroy us. That's on him, not me. Moore used to be happy." "No, you were happy. I was convenient." She didn't have an answer for that. Her mom tried calling me a few times, left voicemails about family forgiveness and second chances, deleted them all. Her dad's trial did start, lasted 3 weeks, guilty on 14 counts, sentenced to 12 years federal prison. Her mum was also charged as an accomplice. She'd signed off on a lot of the fraudulent documents, looking at 5 years herself. The family fortune, gone, seized by the government, sold at auction to pay back investors. The big house, the cars, the boats, everything, all gone. My wife had to move in with her aunt. Last I heard, she's working retail. First job in her adult life. Part of me feels bad. Not much, but a little. She was raised to think money and connections could solve everything. Now she's learning the hard way they can't. But, mostly, I feel free. I'm back in engineering full-time. Got a position with a firm that actually values my skills. Making good money, working on projects I care about. The apartment's slowly filling back up. Bought new furniture, better quality than the stuff she took. Everything's mine, chosen by me, paid for by me. Dated a little bit. Nothing serious yet. Turns out, 3 years of being treated like garbage makes you cautious about relationships. Shocker, but I'm okay. Better than okay, actually. My wife thought her dad's power made her untouchable. Thought I'd never leave because I needed the family connections. Turns out, all I needed was the timing, and a little bit of luck. The FBI investigation wrapped up exactly when I needed it to. Her dad's arrest gave me the opening I'd been waiting for, and once that protection was gone, the rest fell apart on its own. She's paying me $200 a month now. Every payment a reminder that actions have consequences, that treating people like servants eventually backfires. That money, I'm donating it, every penny, to a fund for fraud victims, specifically, her dad's fraud victims. She doesn't know that yet, but she will when they send her the thank you letters. The divorce was expensive, cost me about $8 in legal fees, lost some friends who believed her version of events, had a few rough months dealing with her harassment, but I got out, clean break, no strings attached. No lifetime obligation to someone who saw me as less than human, and watching her world crumble, knowing I timed it perfectly. That was a revenge. That was justice. She gambled on her dad's power lasting forever, bet everything on it. She lost. I won. And honestly, I'd do it all over again.